Hello, this is Bridget Well with Divine Essentials. Okay, guys, so I'm doing a reading, and the way that I've set these ones up is basically people submit their questions and they remain anonymous, but those out there can also receive the messages if they choose to. I find that whenever I do readings publicly, collectively, individually, privately, they all they all go across because we all are connected. We are all one, but we also have resonance of frequencies and energies, and people who come into your community, your friends, your soul family, we resonate with each other, or similarities among each other, and a lot of times deal with similarities among us. That's why the people who come to my channels usually stick around when they come. Some come and go quick, some come and stay, some come and leave and come back, because we all carry frequencies and energies, and we go through things similarly and differently. And so, I feel that this is one way that I can do private work for people, tap into their energy, give them their answers, but also collectively assist and support, and also put content out there that allows other people to benefit, but also allows me to put my work out there and be seen. I just split the deck and I saw the Eight of Wands, which is about taking action and communicating. So it's kind of that. Now, this person's asking about their twin flame and what are they thinking of them now that they know what type of connection that they have, but that this person, doesn't really want them in their life at this time, based off of how they've been, like, so if you're a divine feminine and you have a masculine, some of you may have come to this point now where you've separated, or you've decided, like, I need to not go near this right now because of your own well-being, especially if they were treating you karmically. But now, for those of you, there could be those that your person knows what it is, or what you are, or who you are to them, or they may be questioning it, they may be starting to figure that out. Some of them are going to know straight up, that's my person, my soulmate, my twin flame, whatever. Others may be trying to put a label on it and unable to. And others may know and not let you know that they know. But basically, this person does know. And she knows that they know because they've spoken, okay? And she's asking, how does he feel about her right now, knowing that she knows and he knows, and she's like, I don't want to be with you right now. Like I need to protect myself because of how things work. So how does he feel at this time? We have the Page of Wands, and we have the Eight of Wands, okay? So Eight of Wands is the one that I just mentioned a minute ago, coming out of the cards. That I said was like taking action, communicating, traveling the distance. I'm going to get a little thing. So people can maybe see the cards. So basically, the Eight of Wands is traveling, communicating, taking action, doing something, taking some sort of movement. Page of Wands is, again, energy. Wands are the energy. Wands are the, passion, desire, drive, the thing that we do when we want to do something. It's like we're inspired by this energy, or we're going to go to work and utilize energies and things like that. We're going to take action. Now, this is creative energy. This is like communicating, again. So the pages are communicators, they're messengers. They're the ones that are going to come tell you something. And they usually move around. They're not as mature as like a knight or a king or whatever, but they do have the energy of movement, of messaging, of communicating. And when it's a wand, it's going to be fiery, passionate inspiration, things like that. So I feel like this person, how they feel is that they may be trying to get creative or figure out the best mode of action for themselves. And I just grabbed this deck when I went over there, and it's the Beaver, and it's number 8. It's like I don't. So some of you may have a resonance. This may be the number 8 is infinity. It's a sign of twins, right? We got the 8 of Wands up there, so there's 2 8s, 2 infinity signs. But also, when I said the beaver, I thought Bieber as well. So some of you may get some sort of confirmation or synchronicity within Bieber, Justin Bieber. Again, he's a creative, inspirational person for many on the planet with his music. He does a lot of that, right? He also, there's like people out there who are believers, and they're like gung-ho thinking that him and Selena are twins, and that he's in a karmic cycle right now with the girl that he married, which people have their suspicions as to why he did, and all of that. So some of you may know that, some of you may see that now as a thing that can be like some sort of sign to you about things, and everybody has their way of connecting and realizing and putting pieces together. So pay attention to what's going on around you, okay? Or pay attention to the things that are showing up, and what's being said or done or shown to us, because there's something within almost everything that we have. And this says, things work against you, but persistence pays off. Determined, repetition, making dreams real. So a lot of other things happening right now at this time of people I find in the collective is a lot of people are being pushed to their purpose, their mission. And if you are the divine feminine, and I know specifically this one is being pushed, like physically pushed almost, to do her mission work, to take her stand into the world, to be creatively out there, taking action, communicating, and showing up as that person that she's meant to be. And the Page of Wands, again, is a creative energy. But even this deck, when I designed it, I put that picture there specifically with the computer, because you think of the old tarot, like the communicators or the messengers, they were going by fucking, like, they were taking their little horses around, Now we do it through the computer. So it's like a evolved thing. And the 8 of Wands, right? The 8 of Wands can signify flying, like leaving one destination and taking a plane to another destination. So the reason why I chose the image that's there is because it looks like people in the airport running. I'm going to miss my flight. Oh, I got to run. I got to take off. I got to get out into, movement here. And again, making my dreams a reality by persistently showing up and doing what I'm determined to do. And repetition, I tell people, like when they come and they ask about work, or how to become somebody that's like, an influence type of person, or somebody that has the type of energy that gets respected and put out there and seen and rises up in their work. You can't be successful out here if you don't show up. And if you only show up once in a while, it's like, it's harder. So we got to become very persistent to get the things started, to be the trendsetter. And the gift, or the gets the party started, leader, idea person, start of the season. So 5 is about change, okay? And basically this is the sign for people to take that action, to get themselves out there, to become a leader of the ideas and the things that they have. And I just looked down, and this is the next card, so it's like kind of funny because it's 6, and it's fixed, middle of the season, stubborn, self-confident, stuck, purpose-driven, gets it done, reliable. But again, when you think of reliable is the same as being committed, or the same as showing up regularly and being in a repetition of things. Like, I'm going to be purpose-driven, and I'm going to be stubborn, and I'm going to get it done. I'm going to be reliable by repetition and creation over and over and over. I'm going to start my idea, and I'm going to get my ass out there, and I'm going to do it over and over and over. So taking that leap of faith as the Fool and embracing the unknown, taking the opportunity to be original, individual, use the technology, the innovation that's out here, and to do what we have come to do. So I feel like the person, if you are connected on that level, on a soul level, and you have similar missions and purposes and things, then they're going to be in that same energy. They're going to be doing the same thing, okay? And I'm laughing because the Empress is on the bottom of the deck, and when I split, I got the Sun. So we know that the Sun is the masculine and the Empress is the feminine. So it's almost like they're giving us both here, just in their different forms, okay? So if the Moon and the Emperor came out, it would be like the counterparts to each other, okay? So it's kind of funny because I feel like this is signifying what I've been saying so much as basically like this person and yourself are doing similar shit. You guys are on similar paths and you have a similar trajectory and you have things that you've got to do to get done to success, you know, to have success. So he could be feeling towards you like this desire, this drive to also follow his instinct, to go towards his purpose, which would be you, you know, in the end of it all. It's like no matter what we do or where we go or how we choose to do it or choose to get there, some of us are going to be led right back to each other over and over and over, whether it's going to be the thing that directs us into our success and our abundance and our joy, or into our sadness and our misery and our suffering, is going to be dependent upon where we're at and what we're doing, and also what they're at and what they're doing and how we allow it to impact us. So try to be more so in the place of pleasure and happiness. Allow your beauty, your charm, your grace to be put out there. Be artistic, magnetic, and abundant within your pleasure and your happiness, and lifting out of the negativity that is around us all the time. Enjoying yourself and being present in the moment, having that rapid response and that resilience. Again, we see resilient, rising up, coming out of, overcoming, being persistent, you know, being stubborn, you know, becoming stubborn about our success and our drive and our will. And I feel like the more that the feminine does that, the more the masculine is going to do it. It's like you guys are, you know, doing it in many levels too. So he's still in the back of her mind, even though she knows right now that she doesn't really want to be with him because it's not the right place to be, which is part of the journey, you know. It's like in the beginning of the journey, everybody's eyes are focused on wherever they're focused, right? Maybe the ego is leading, or the self, like, I'm obsessed and I'm crazy about this person, even though they're not being so great to me and things are kind of fucked up. I'm like just in love all the way and just want union. That's the main goal and drive and focus of people. And then over time, they heal, they grow, they learn, they evolve, they get, you know, knocked down a couple times or experience things, a few experiences that just probably don't, you know, always end in the result of union or end in the result of that was easy and fun and wow. But what ends up happening is people grow and they evolve and they overcome and they learn their lessons and they figure out that it may not be in the best interest of them to be pursuing that person at that time because that person's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So in you know, default of that would be that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing if I'm chasing you around and trying to make something work where clearly the results of that is not ending out to be very beneficial. So you guys are all evolving and all growing and all healing. We all are. And I feel like this is just an indicator of that, to be constantly taking action, eyes on the prize of your own experience, your own evolution, your own instinct and success, your vitality. Don't place it on anybody else or wrap it up within others, because then we lose ourselves and we lose it. We won't keep it, even if we do attain it. You know, it's gonna fail or fall apart or be very shaky within the foundation because you're placing all of the emphasis outward or on another person. And so the fact of seeing and recognizing, like, wait a minute, you know, you may be my person, my twin flame, but I need to go a different route right now. I need to work on myself and my mission, my purpose, and rising up is exactly where you should be and what you should be doing. And in the pursuit of that, they see it. And they start to realize that, and they start to mirror that on their own evolution. And it's like, you know, the feminine just goes first, I feel, in this current timeline that we're experiencing. It's like the feminine leads by example or by her example of who she is, or just by being presently doing whatever she's doing. And then the masculine can be the catalyst of those things too, because like his actions may push her to do something, but whatever she does is going to be the thing that ends up being, you know, followed or mirrored or mimicked in some other way, or eventually led to, you know. So if we want other people to be the best of themselves, or to be amazing people, and to heal, and to grow, and to evolve, we need to be that first for ourselves, and then lead by example. We don't want to try to like drag anybody around or make anybody feel like they're not that anyways, because we all are in the simplistic essence of who we are at our soul level. We are perfect. We are totally fine. Everything about us that we go through and deal with is just shaping us into becoming more aware, whole individuals, and recognizing it without the insecurities and the doubts, the fears, the limits, the pain, suffering, and struggling that we seem to create out of our own misery or our own choices of keeping ourselves within all of that. So when we lift up out of it and we pursue things and we do things and we prove to others that it can be done by doing it, and we show others what we expect out of them by what we allow and don't allow, they will eventually, you know, find their own way there, most likely, because nobody really wants to suffer, struggle, or be out of the loop of others, you know. So you're on a quest, you're on a migration, relocating, you're dependable, you're knowing where you're going on the cyclical, faithful journey of the evolution of our souls, and so are they. So your soulmate, your twin flame, the one, the pair of love, the blooming love, the faith. Again, we have faithful faith, the deep soul connection, and it's a number 6. So, you know, 666. And I can even feel, it's funny, because like sometimes I say things or put things out there, and the response that other people have, I feel it when I'm doing this, like almost a prerequisite. It's like, oh, that's how people are going to respond. Don't go to 6 as being a bad thing. 6 is just 6. It's just there. It's part of our things. It's a frequency. It's an energy. And us applying that like fear of like 666 is what creates the possibility of it being negative and manifesting negative. So try to not do that to things, you know, to anybody or anything. Don't expect the negative. Don't expect the horrible. Don't you know, label others as icky. You know, we're all in this intervention of the divine. We're all experiencing duality, and we're all going through the perfect timing within our own experiences through the ascension, the serendipity. We all have good days and bad days, ups and downs, and back and forth. It's part of the experience of being human, and we can be cohesive within the transformation and the expansion. And again, with the double rainbow, it's almost like there's this like a confirmation of what I'm saying. It's like as you creatively explore yourself and you become who you're meant to be, your counterpart, your mirror, your dual buddy, right? Like I have a dual buddy. I'm the feminine and the masculine, and we're gonna go through our thing as we go through it, and they're gonna be that double rainbow, that other aspect, or that mirror, or that reflection of who you are. You know, and it carries in many different ways. So it's like when people are showing up and they're not treating us well, and they do this and they do that, and we feel bad and we feel like, oh, I'm so a victim of that. They wouldn't have been able to show up and do it if we didn't allow for those circumstances, or the denial of our intuition, and like the creation of those experiences that played out. It only played out because we were there interacting within it. Even if somebody does something real shitty, it's usually because the vibration that we're emitting is in an energetic match of it becoming. We are insecure about ourselves. We don't know if we can trust them. We don't know if they think of us as being as beautiful and amazing and awesome as we should be seeing ourselves. If we want others to also feel that way and see that about us, we need to first find it within ourselves, right? We need to be that perfect, precise design that we are created as. And carefully fragile. We got to handle it carefully, because we are unique, exquisite, and there's a pattern, a very detailed, coded pattern, and a design to everything around us and within us, and it's all frequency, even snowflakes, frequencies. It's like when snow falls and we see a snowflake coming down, it's a representation of the frequency that is there in that moment that it was created. It's like a perfect representation of it, because if you take a water drop and you flash freeze it, it's going to have a detailed look to it based off of the energy and frequency around it, based off of who's there within it and what's saying to it, and all of that. So if like you write the word love and write the word hate on two different water droplet containers, and then you flash freeze them, one is going to be beautiful and one is going to look amazing and like wow, look at that beautiful thing, and one is going to be looking the very much similar way that polluted water looks. So again, it's very important that we remember how that pattern, how that is coded uniquely and fragile, because we all do it to ourselves very easily. We tell ourselves we're ugly, we're stupid, we're not good enough, we don't know, it's not good, right? So instead of doing that, if we instead were like, I am loving and amazing and I'm awesome and I'm beautiful and I'm unique and all of that, we're going to emanate that, we're going to show that, and others are going to be able to see that. And if they're not vibrating at that same level or that same frequency, then they won't be able to come in and mess with us, because there won't be an energetic match, or even if they do come in and try to mess with us, they're not going to have much result, because they can't reach us when we're in our own power and in our own awareness and creation of our existence. So here's the Emperor now, and it says independent, aggressive, active, combative, naive, assertive, pioneer, initiator, impatient, energetic, aggressive. So he is the divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy. And oh my goodness, I split the deck and here's another man. So this is the man that a person that the love interest, person, boyfriend, whatever, however you want to call it, right? And there's a bridge of communication and a uniting, a connecting and an integration and overcoming those barriers that are out there when we come into a shared harmony and we compromise with each other and we recognize each other and we recognize ourselves. And within all of this, so it's like you are the querent, a person that right? This is who we are, bridging this connection between. And on the grand scheme of it all, when we go beyond ourselves and our own individual each other, like this is my person, when we go out beyond that, we recognize that when we overcome this separation, when we come to the completion of these cycles, which we are here responsible, this is our duty, we came at this time to be doing this, we're committed to it, to have the healthy boundaries and the integration of the restrictions and the commitments to the achievement of the responsibility to unify within harmony and to love unconditionally, to challenge the status quo. There's an opportunity presenting to everybody on the planet to have a clearer vision and a better perspective of what the past, present, and future holds, and for us to have the new hope within us to create it, to love unconditionally and wholly within ourselves, and then as a result within each other. So the perfect timing is at play within all of this as well, because eventually we will get there through the test of time. We're going to tap back in, and the origins that we hold are going to keep showing up until we overcome anything that needs to be overcome, or pass through the timelines that need to be passed through to get to the other side of the place where we have that agreement and that pact and that partnership between us and another, where we commit to that cycle, that circular promise, that bond, coming into oneness or coming into wholeness, coming into completion, because that's just how it goes. And there's aha moments and discoveries and breakthroughs and revelations, realizing and enlightenment and invention and an epiphany. So I feel like basically what this is all saying is that, yes, because the next person is he awakening? Is he changing? And what is he going to do? Were the questions involved with this person's, inquiries. And basically, I feel like, yeah, so they realize, they know who you are. And again, who they're becoming, and through what you're doing and how you're acting and what you're going to do is going to very much impact what they're going to do. They're having their aha moments. They're figuring these things out. They're realizing, but it's only because you are. So the both of you are connected and committed with a deep bond, an uncommon bond, and you're reawakening the lost hopes and manifesting your deep desires to have that resilience and that power, to believe in that power and to trust the freedom of your existence, your creation, your manifestation of everything that you have been creating and wanting and desiring since the dawn of time, and it will continue to be, evolving and shifting over these days, weeks, months, years, eons. It's infinite. It's a circular thing. It never ends, right? It's like it's just going to keep going and going and going and going and going and going and flowing and changing and shifting and growing and evolving back over time. But this is the Lovers, and it says adaptable, mental, intellectual, social, versatile, responsive, changeable, witty, inquisitive, flexible, superficial, so basically, like, when you think of the Lovers, this is sometimes about a decision or a choice, but it's also about like lovers, like the duality of lovers. The Devil card has the two lovers on it in chains and bonds, and it represents that karmic bond and that enslavement, that circular thing. And then the Lovers has the two lovers free and hope, open and wide open to the creation and the existence and the experience that they are going to live and play out. And their decisions, their choices, how they go through their reality is what will either lead them to staying and remaining in that freedom, or they may become superficial and they may stop asking questions. They may not adapt to the situations in the right ways per se, or they maybe care too much about what others think, or they, allow themselves to become lost within the bond or the chains of societal conditioning, and letting go of what we feel is right or what we know within ourselves is right and wrong and all of that. And that's when we can sometimes fall into those places or those patterns, those frequencies that kind of lock us off from being in that temperance, from being in that optimistic place where we are maybe outspoken about ourselves and who we are, and we're independent and an adventurer desiring knowledge, and we can be outspoken about that. We can be humorous and adventuresome within our creation. But I feel like that's basically like the two of you guys are both on a evolution. You're both traveling through time and space, and you're exploring your minds, and you're exploring the existence of creation within this reality, headed towards justice, headed towards that time where harmony and balance over everything we have here can manifest. When we're no longer caring so much about what other people do or what other people see of us, and we more so care about who we are and what we are doing and how we're doing it, and being reborn. Basically, we're rising into the rebirth and transformation. We're heeding the call, the renewal of the destruction and creation, surrendering, awakening the fundamental changes that are clearing and purging through the judgment. And with the Devil, it's like becoming resourceful, conservative, tenacious, disciplined, wise, ambitious, prudent, constant, eyes on the prize, and realistic. So there's always going to be, this is stuff here. There's always going to be the good and the bad, the back and the forth, the up and the down, the way-hoos. But they're there for a reason, and we overcome them over time. And we, can come to harmony, beauty. We can reconcile with the deep love and the contentment and warmth. We can have that creative gift of art, which you keep seeing showing up here. So it's like, become the artist, explore creative energies, become the one that knows your power and clears away the destruction or the fears, the doubts, that we have manifest within us when we start worrying about other people more than ourselves, or more like in the sense of what they think of us, or how they're perceiving us, or what are they doing to us, or what are they going to do to us. Because just even in asking that, what are they going to do to us, is giving them the power to do anything to us, because nobody should have that but us. So, and if we do give that power to someone else, we think, oh, what are they going to do to us? We don't want to give it in that sense of that way of thinking, or in that term. More so like, how do you think they're going to serve us? How do you think things are going to work out between us in a positive way, so that the mind can create, the pathways and the frequencies and the expectations of beauty and grace and harmony and love and respect and all of the good that we would like to most likely have around us, so that we don't have, that loss of those bonds of deep love and of deep reverence and respect and unity and harmony and beauty and all of those things that we do have available to us in every moment. So at this time, it's about going out, networking, marketing, meeting, new people, and doing what feels right, within ourselves. Like I feel like this is collective too. Whether or not you're going to be like an internet influencer or you're going to do whatever, we all are networking, we're marketing, we're on our social media, we're putting ourselves out there into the internet and expanding with that exposure, which has been fundamental within the creation and the expansion of the information. Think about not that long ago, even like before the internet was available, we didn't talk to people in the other towns or countries or places. We didn't know all the things that we now can just like Google at the drop of a hat. It's all within our fingertips. And we didn't have this our social whatever was like basically like as a kid it was like my street, my where I lived. And then as you go to school, it's your school, and then as you get out of there it may be like where you work. It's always where we become like a product of our surroundings. But when the internet came, it opened up our surroundings exponentially to a place where we can now put ourselves out there and be seen by many people. We can learn from many people. We can grow, but we can also disguise and conceal and let our ego have a hidden motive, and we can represent something that's not real. We can fall into the victimhood of others that are not real, or we can fall into the victimhood of looking at others that are not putting on the truth. They're not being integrity. They're not speaking from a place that's actually like who they are or what they really represent or what they believe or whatever. And we all do it because we're afraid of being judged or whatever. Especially in the spiritual community, people get all freaked out, and people are very judgmental. It's like, oh, you can't be spiritual if blah blah blah, you can't be this if blah blah blah. It's like people are always throwing limits on each other and beliefs about each other. It's just how people are, and it sucks. But we don't want to let that be continuing on. It's that wild, unpredictable power struggle, this assertive energy that's determined and elusive, and it's within all of us. Our ego is within all of us to protect us to a degree so that we don't die. Your ego's the thing that's going to kick in and make you run from death. Like if there's a wolf coming to kill you, your ego part of yourself is like, oh fuck, I gotta save myself, run. If there's a murderer coming to kill you, your ego's gonna kick in and be like, oh fuck, blah, blah, blah. Try to get help, get creatively expressive in your existence and experience at that time to evolve out of that situation by either, some crazy move or hiding or whatever. However it manifests, however you do it, but that's what kicks in. But unfortunately, it's the same thing that goes to the other extreme sometimes, where it's like people are afraid to just be who they are. People are afraid of others seeing their real life, because we see things on TV of like these beautiful, perfect places and people and Photoshop and airbrushed and all of that shit that isn't real. And it creates a fake reality or a fake experience, an unattainable experience. We cannot have it. It's never going to be like people use their homes to live in, so it's never going to be like a picture perfect magazine shoot. People live and they get sick, or they evolve and they heal and they grow, and there's ups and downs. But there's never going to be like that tearful moment of something that we see portrayed on TV, from little girls and boys to like the Disney movie with the prince and the princess always get married and la la la, and things like that get fed into the collective and bred through the collective and bred through our minds and our doubts and our fears, and they create people being all worked up and all about the money and all about having a large quantity of shit that they can't even maintain or can't even see or fully enjoy, right? Think about that. Like, what the hell are you going to do with a mansion? It's like, I never leave the one bedroom I'm in. Like, why would I need a mansion? That sounds like a shit show of a lot of fucking cleaning that I don't really want to do. And I don't think anybody else does. So, like, why does it have to be bigger to be better, man? Like, just be happy with what we have. And when we're happy with what we have, we create more to have, and we create more opportunity and more frequency of that energy, of abundance, of prosperous, goodness, things expanding and multiplying. And when we are magnetically attracting things to us, we're seductive, and we have a gravity of our own that just draws things to us easily. So again, if we're feeling sad and we're feeling bad and somebody left and we're just thinking about them all the time, it doesn't do us any good. It actually pushes them away, because of that energy is just the opposite of that experience of having or receiving or being in alignment to be very like magnetic and attractive to somebody, right? So I feel like what basically is happening is, since now that you're standing in your power, now you're creatively exploring your life and you're doing what you need to do for you, which is your best experience, coming out of that time of maybe being obsessed or repressed or feeling like, oh my god, like getting backstabbed, and the deceptions, the jealousy, and all of that shit that can come about when someone hurts us, or there's another person involved, third party things, or we just start to feel cursed and oh my god, and why would they do that, and and again, it's just part of the experience here. It's not like, I don't think it's necessarily that there's just innately bad or good people. I think it's just a mixture of the board and what happens and plays out along the way, and how we see it and what we do of it and how we move forward from it. So the Wheel of Fortune always spins, and the fate always changes, and destiny is part of it. But we are also the manifestor, the creator of it all. We choose how long we're going to stay in places and how it's going to play out in the end. When we spin the Wheel of Favor and we start having those turning points. So I feel like you've spun the Wheel of Favor into a time of making the stable changes in your life that needed to be done for yourself, for your evolution, for your metamorphosis. You're embracing the change and you're having an evolution of your soul. You're reinventing yourself. And what that's doing is being seen by the person. And it's, also changing them through this energy. And they may feel like they would like to have a rendezvous or come back and, flirt with you and have that carefree, unexpected time where, wow, this is fun and awesome. And sometimes we don't know what we've got until it's gone, is a common thing we hear among people. Or it's like when we let go, we make the space for things to show up. So it's like, as you're illuminating yourself, and number 11 here, that chemistry, that soul spark, you're becoming someone exceptional and attractive. You're seeing it because you're recognizing it, you're learning and you're knowing, and you're developing over time like a fine wine. You are getting into that place where you're aging well through the understanding of yourself, and through learning and growing and evolving, through the intellectual understanding of the education that just comes about from living life, from realizing like, oh, this isn't good for me, or this is good for me, or understanding what needs to be done so that you can have fulfillment and kindness and forgiveness and affection and all the things that the heart desires and wants and longs for. But it requires that commitment, that stable, persevering, down to earth, like, here I go, I'm going to be strong, I'm going to be prosperous, I'm going to be dependable, and show up over and over and over again, even when I get hit, even when I get knocked down, even when the clouds come rolling on in, there's misunderstandings and confusions and hesitations and doubts and bullshit, and there's self-interest, and there's something wrong that people do, and all the things that go around us, and it's, not always easy to get through. But if we are stable and enduring and solid and steady, and we restrain ourselves and we secure ourselves and we find that willpower, we can take back our power. We can be, the one that has the advantage in all of it by just being our best selves, seeing through the facade, lifting through the bullshit, finding the insights, the wisdom of the things that we heal through and grow through and recognize as a part of. And then we become fair and just and devoted. We become heart-centered, for ourselves and others, and we lead by example, which allows others to meet us there if we choose that that's what we would like for them to do. They may show back up and you can decide that you don't really want to go down that path, and that's fine. But the solution and the intelligence, the clarity, the key to all of this stuff, the helpful thing that's going to unlock and break us out and have liberty, and the clarity around where we're going and what we're wanting and manifesting and all of that is within us and within ourselves, and is always going to be mirrored back to us by those around us when we take that leading role, which I feel you've done, and become our best versions of ourselves by knowing ourselves fully and embracing ourselves on all levels. And instead of getting all lost in it or illusions of it, by becoming somebody, here's the sun, we start to see, we illuminate the dark, right? We know that our conscious mind is here and is aware and of the things that are right and wrong to the degree of the physical level. We know that looks nice and that doesn't, and we know that person did that and that one didn't, and we know who we are and who we're becoming or trying to be, and what things we do that maybe serve and what things we do that maybe don't. But as we explore that inner world, we can even start to understand why we're doing it, or who we're doing it for, or where it began, or what is becoming because of it. And then we can have the light illuminate it more and more so that we can become successful, fulfilled with our energy and our experience by illuminating it, understanding it, clarifying it, and then rewriting it, and being very much aware of how we're putting ourselves into this creation, or the thoughts that we're thinking, the feelings that we're feeling, the places that we're going, the people that we're meeting. All of that is up to us. We can have that reputation of success. We can win. We can have our goals become achievements when we explore and uncover the shadow, and not look at it as already so bad and horrible, but just accept it and realize it's part of us. It's internal. It's our shadow. It's can't have the light without the dark. You can't have one without the other. But we are all of it in one. We are the fullness of it, and we can embrace it and understand it and appreciate it and love it, and just treat ourselves the ways that we should. And then when we don't, not be surprised at the results of when we don't. But when we don't, we can also forgive and let it go, and not become severely wounded forever as a result of it. So we don't ever want to write anything off, or just completely succumb to stupid moments, or bad experiences, or the faults that we created, or the times that we lost, because it's those losses that would let us evolve eventually into realizing or recognizing what we needed to do in order to win. So there is the next level of things happening. And I feel like this person may, because you asked what are they going to do, I feel like they may propose, or they may bring some sort of partnership or agreement to you in the future, if you would like for that to be what happens. But it's going to be coming out of that just right equality of well-being and feeling complete, that centered, balanced, energetic frequency of awareness, so that we can have that comfort, leisure, the wishes coming true. You may have a birth of a daughter in the future. Oh my God, and look at that, the freaking birth of a son is on this one. Leap of faith, easy going. So what? Don't worry. So basically what they're saying here is don't worry. Don't worry about it so much. Don't think about it to the point where it's just on your mind all the time, because that's going to actually block things from manifesting. But I do feel like you may have something happen in the future. A leap of faith will be had, and it's going to be a choice of you, and if you want it to be that you come into the time of this unconditional, legendary, divine union of eternal love. It's infinite, again, that 8-8 thing. And I do feel like you will hear from this person. They probably want to communicate with you. They may be thinking about the best way to do so, or how they would do that. But I do feel like eventually it might lead to that experience of a proposal of some sort. I definitely feel like there's a lot of memories that are stirring within people. There could be some sort of magical things that are happening, like the synchronicities, and this person becoming more observant of those. And when we do that, it multiplies things, and it increases it, and it makes us more and more and more aware of that need or that drive or that desire to keep it going and to move forward. So the stepping stones are being built, and you're creating them in your life and they're creating them in their life, and it's leading you back to each other in some ways, and it's leading you beyond each other in some ways, and it's going up and down and around, and it all comes back, eventually it all comes back to the same things. And sometimes we choose a new path, or we choose the yes or the no. It doesn't matter, it's all up to us, but we'll figure it out as we get there. So I feel like they do see you as a very supportive person, somebody that's loyal and faithful and devoted. They see you as that good person that they don't want to be maybe necessarily without. And I feel like they're standing alone in this energy, and recognizing like the tower energy of like, oh shit, like maybe this isn't the best thing, or maybe I haven't been looking at things in the best way. So like the warning that beware, the detours of the vigilance, the obstacles to avoid, and using tact and diplomacy, like they're recognizing now, like, oh shit, man, like this person was a good person to me, and this person like tried to warn me and tried to keep me from choosing things that just didn't serve me. So now maybe I'm standing alone, and maybe I did things that in one way felt or looked okay, or I thought were going to lead me towards something, but now they're probably recognizing that they were you tried to help them, you tried to guide them, you tried to be committed to them, you tried to be balanced with them, you tried to love them, and they were more so of the mind and more so of things that they thought were going to be right or the best for them, rather than the things that ultimately matter in the end for most people. It's like the things that we start off caring about, or the things that drive us a lot within this reality, are ego based, and they're like basic instincts and needs and drives of our ego, and like just needing to eat, and cause us to do shit that's a fake performance, and it causes us to be in a way that's not the best, and it can cause us to have that cursed energy of that guilt and that shame and that regret. Why did I do that? Why was I that way? Deceptive and jealous and betrayal and backstabbed, and all the things that, ultimately don't lead us to feeling great. They may lead us to having some money. They may lead us to having a lot of big fucking shit that we probably don't even need or care about to the degree that we may think that we do before having it. Because when you have it, you're like, oh fuck, like, well, this is kind of pointless if you're not happy, So I feel like they're coming into a time of power and learning their steps of arrival. And they're seeing you as magnetic, and they are awakening, they are learning, they are exploring this deeper knowledge and wisdom that's available to all of us, and it's increasing within all of us, within the reality of everybody. The timing is passing, and our past lives are reawakening, and people are starting to understand as we grow and evolve. Collectively, we're aging well because we're awakening well, and the status quo is changing. The evolution of what's important is changing. Perspectives are shifting. The growth is coming. We're manifesting, but it again, it's a cycle. It's a circular thing. It's like nothing really new is happening, but it's like it's just repeating over and over and over. But where we're at within the creation of the repeating is changing. So right now, we're ascending again. We had the golden age, and we were all of enlightenment and beauty and grace and Lemurian and Atlantean times, and then we had the fall, and the teachings went underground, and the darkness came, and we lost our ways, and it was like now the secret societies held on to it, but the dark ages plagued. But recently we've been coming back into the planet, to the reawakening, the reemerging to the world, to create from a place that's not going to be so bad, like we're clearing the clouds, we're clearing the shit, we're getting rid of the confusion and the chaos and the darkness that's been, plaguing people, and the misunderstandings and the loss of information and the confusion that's come as a result of that descent into the dark, into the dead deceptive blah, 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 ego crap, and we're illuminating back up into the time of the light, back up into the time of liberation, that final judgment, rising, rebirthing, and renewal, and we're communicating and sharing and overcoming by being within our fortitude to stand strong as divine beings in our true pride and ego, not coming from self-service, but more so service to others, and seeing through the facade of the bullshit that's here, and exploring the unknown, and just becoming our best selves so that we can mirror that back in another. So a lot of people, when they get upset or they think of that person was bad to me or whatever, just realize that, like, if they showed up in your reality, there was a reason. There was something that you were emanating at that time. And so they just showed you a version of yourself or something within yourself that needed to shift and heal and grow. And it's like all we're doing is becoming the best versions of ourselves. They're healing ourselves. Our personal growth is coming from our past lives. We're evolving. Our fertility, our lineages, our ancestors. We're figuring it all out. We're healing our inner child. We're, redoing and reparenting everything from before. And we're cultivating more chemistry and celebration, exhilaration, the explosiveness, the passion, the joy, 66, 666. And we're eliminating the bullshit lies and illusions of things that we've allowed to become like bad within our life, and realizing that we're the creators. So those heaviness, those addictions, those trapped emotional baggages of unhappy and karmic people, the third parties, the other shit that was just like in the way, or we were creating it through, through allowing it, and just like by perceiving all these obstacles and illusions and not feeling good enough or strong enough, or allowing us to have better because we weren't believing in ourselves enough to see that we deserved better, that we could be vibrant and abundant, and that we could move forward from things, and instead of staying stuck or delaying ourselves or blocking ourselves or refusing to compromise with ourselves even, or to just choose to cut things away that we knew were not so good for, like, oh, that person just cheated on me and they lied to me and they've been doing this to me and they've been doing that to me, but I'm still here and I'm still devoted. Those things are changing. People are starting to realize, like, wow, not going to get better while I do that. So we're evolving. We're having that metamorphosis. And as a result, we will come back to the time of forgiveness and harmony and love and respect. And some people will meet you there and evolve there. And some people, that's part of the deeper bond and the reawakening of lost hopes. When we see these people truly transform into their best selves, but they will have to prove themselves too. Like, it's not gonna just like magically happen overnight, but it comes out of the realizations and the evolutions of learning and living our lives, the enlightenment, and the energies that bring us together will bring us together in the ways that they're meant to. It's not going to play out like the movies, like a whole 2-hour quick, okay, here's your miracle. But your wishes can come true as you are sort of an opinionated intellectual and learning and growing and overcoming, detaching yourself from the influence of others, detaching yourself from the need of the necessity of it's got to be them, and finding our own true north, finding our own way, making our own plans and exploring without it being like, oh, I'm doing this for this outcome of something like self-serving or manipulative, that when people start acting from a good place, just because it's the right thing to do and just because they feel guided to do it, and they're caring about themselves in the best ways possible, and they have that ability to trust themselves and to take themselves to their dreams, and they're inspired and they're inspiring, and that's when we start seeing those miracles and those wishes manifesting and coming to that harmony place for the effective communication and the humor, the fun, the collaboration with others that hopefully will be showing up in a way that's like, wow, much better, because they've ascended as well, they've learned as well, they've dived into the depth of the darkness of their intuition of the feminine essence, and they've awakened and healed and harmonized and listened to their psyche, to their intuition, to their inner self, and they balance and figure out what they need to figure out by examining the fine prints and the details and themselves through inward exploration and all of that stuff that we do on these paths, and then determining, wow, I am so freaking amazing, beautiful and harmonious, and I'm worthy of having that. And when we figure that out and we know that we're worthy of it, because that's a big part of it too, is people not feeling that they're worthy. People feel, I'm a bad person, like they feel like it's like they're being put to the test, or that they've sinned in some way. Even if you don't really fully follow that stuff or know that stuff, it's in the energies of the things around us. There's this like falseness that's been imprinted into the collective, energetically secretive, like hoarding and scolding and blah, 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 blah. Just not good shit, right? Makes people feel guilty, or makes people feel like they did something wrong even when they didn't. So people are starting to come to the crossroads and journeying to this place of realizing that they have free will and they can have their choices become, their decisions. And when they realize that they're worthy of it and they see it and they understand it and they live it and embody it, they attract it. They attract more and more of it. And other people will follow that lead and come to meet us there. And sometimes they won't and sometimes they will. But I do feel like this person is going through their evolution, their death, transformation of their, stuff. And that there may become a time where they will reach out to you or try to see what's going on. I got the birds here. Communicating, negotiating, chatter, debate, stuff like that. So I do feel like that there is something that will probably manifest at some point, and it may be that you do choose to return to each other and be in each other's lives romantically, or you may choose to do something else together. But it's all part of the stuff here, so just be stubborn in the evolution of your purpose, of putting yourself into your creation and manifesting the best version of yourself. Know that the communication is probably going to come in at some point. There is a passion and a drive, something inside, an unbridled, motivated thing between the two of you. So that may even lead them back to you at times, which, again, you may need to decide, is this the right time, or is this the time that I should employ my boundaries and my self-respect and ensure that I don't get knocked off my course out of something that may be more so coming from them in a way that's deceitful or not fully evolved, or just coming in to ignite some flames and passion, and again could be pushed by the ego or the drive or the desires of sexual energy. But it doesn't prevent them from eventually overcoming that and realizing and recognizing where they needed to heal and all of that. And again, I think it would be a result of also the both of you doing it and then transforming and becoming the magician. Taking that inspired action as a conduit of a manifested experience of the evolutioned souls that are now coming as the emperor and empress type of person, the person that overcame the lower vibrations or the ego or the karmic illusions and things that just probably weren't gonna be the best. Oh my goodness, the Hierophant. I just pulled this deck out and I get the Hierophant. So yeah, that's again spiritual commitment, being committed to justice and balance. So I do feel like, yes, they've awoken and they are becoming the magician, which again was that card I just had a moment ago, and they are transforming themselves for their evolution of their soul. The Wheel of Fortune here is basically things turning in a new direction. Is probably not going to be like a quick bang boom overnight thing, but that there is to come together within this. The two of you have that connection. They feel it energetically, passionately. They're driven by that. So they do want to give to you. They want to receive from you. But you need to ensure that they're going to be working together with you in a way that's good and just and balanced, and that's not going to lead you to something bad. So, oh shit, yeah. See, we don't want that. You want the Ace of fucking Pentacles, not the stuff that leads to Three of Cups. Like, oh, they had somebody else, or oh, they're not really committed to me, or they're not, giving me something tangible that can lead to my Ten of Pentacles, my ultimate fulfillment, and you may have to walk away at those times, which will cause a death, a transformation of the people who were involved with it, so that they can then later, either choose something different or new, or go into their hermit modes and evolve and overcome, so that eventually they can lead to their Ten of Cups, happily ever after, Four of Wands union, if that's what they're meant to be and do. And if the person truly loves and feels that way about you, they will come to tell you that truth, and you will know eventually over time whether or not they're coming as a Casanova with only smooshy shit, or if they're coming as a devil, toxic lesson or illusion that's going to lead to your downfall of things and painful endings. Which, even if they do, that could be part of the overall casting judgment of things that we needed to go through to overcome our anxieties and our illusions of ourselves, to find that strength of will within us, to choose what's right, to choose to put an end to the cycle that was never going to be the thing that was going to lead us to that place. So we found the strength in ourselves to harmonize and balance within temperance. And that leads us to that place of being an empress or the emperor, and overcoming the illusions and the lies and the bullshit, the deceit and the things that happen here that keep us from being happily, manifested in our truth, in our space of open, receptive, and giving and receiving. So I feel like he has the potential to become your King of Pentacles in the future, where he's like devoted and committed and stable and wise and sees and understands and knows, and that he is watching you at this time. So he is learning from you. He realizes that you're guarded towards him right now. So he may plant seeds energetically and emotionally and physically and spiritually, which you've already done by just going through your experience, which everybody is doing. We're just planting our seeds where they're meant to be, and we're evolving and growing as those stars of the show in our lives. And eventually we will figure out where we're meant to go, or how we're going to fully embody the versions of us that we're trying to become, and who we're going to do that with. But right now, it's time for you to be that independent, single, sexy, confident version of you. And then eventually you probably will reconcile, if not just in a way of like, I forgive you and I love you. I feel like either way, it's going to end that the two of you care about each other, love each other, and know that. And up to you to decide whether or not you're going to be the Queen of Pentacles that sits beside the King of Pentacles, or if you're going to choose to, evolve away and go to somebody else, or do whatever you want to do. It's up to you to decide. But I do feel like there will be an evolution of the connection, and that whatever has been happening with elusiveness and possessiveness and the determined struggles, that stuff that's not always easy, will come into a place of an established ambition. The things experience maturity. Over time you grow up, basically, and both of you are going to be doing that and healing whatever has been not so good. And again, justice will have been had through the spiritual level of that commitment to ourselves and to each other, to our soul work, and to our karma and our destiny and all of those things that we're playing out here on the planet. Oh my God. I put these back and I split this open to him, and she was on the bottom over here. So it's like the King and Queen of Cups, right? Like the two of you, if there's a deep love between the two of you, true love, it will overcome whatever happens within the world, with the heartache, okay, with the Three of Swords pain that we endure. If there's true love there, and people do care ultimately, and that's where they're truly meant to be, or that's where they're going to be happy, they will find whatever strength is necessary and needed to do what they need to do to become the Empress and the Emperor in their connections, okay? So sometimes it requires a death of things that we're currently within. Sometimes it does require us walking away from the current experiences, especially if there's tower moments and badness that we're playing out over and over with certain people. But that will lead to eventually to us being vulnerable and expressive and receiving those I'm sorries that can lead to those 10 of Pentacles ultimate fulfillments that come out of that. Like, hey, I'm ready to be the person that you always saw within me or knew that I could be, but I needed to, evolve. And the same, it will be said right back to the other. So that could be through both, okay? So think about that. Like you guys see within each other the potential of the other, or the real truth of the other. Like you see them as that king, you see them as that person. Maybe it took some time of them proving to you that they weren't really being that way at that time, but you still underlying know that they have what it takes to become that version of themselves, to heal whatever parts of themselves are not manifesting as that person right now, or whatever illusions have played out to keep things in the way that it's not showing. And that sun, that divine masculine energy, is available to everybody at all times within ourselves and in our evolution, so that we can heal and illuminate the spots or the parts that have been lost in the lies and in the devil work, or in the karmic connections and the pursuits of things that are just not truly fulfilling, or of that essence of truth and integrity, or of what really matters, like the nostalgic, like when you were a kid and you didn't care about the stuff, it wasn't like it is when we get older. So it's like we can truly have the happily ever after when we get back to that spot and we stop placing emphasis on things that don't matter, and we evolve the way that we look at things around us and in each other, and we see ourselves through the eyes of those who already saw it within us, and again, like our inner child, like we just allow ourselves to see the truth of the matter, that we're not separate, we're not meant to struggle and suffer. We don't need to have money to be amazing. And it's not the matter, it's like we don't want to measure people's, like, the level of who they are, the value of them based off of those types of things. We want to make a commitment and a pact to somebody that feels good and has that deep love, that cares about us in a way that's different than like, oh, you can pay my bills, or we can have a mansion, or things that just don't fucking matter, that aren't gonna be fulfilling on the level of our soul, or isn't gonna be fulfilling in the level of just basic stuff. Like, it's not hidden, it's not under the persona, it's not fake. Nobody really wants that shit. Nobody's really doing all of it. That gets put out there, portrayed to us to make us feel like there's something wrong with us if we're not living that perfect, vision of things. But when we see it and recognize it, and we can find other people that truly love us in a way that doesn't, need to be all put under makeup and full bullshit and lies and all that shit. We're not spraying stuff on it to make it so that it doesn't smell when it smells, and when we're not lying to ourselves, basically, when we're not letting other things influence us, or we're feeling all like we don't have what someone else does, we're not good enough, or whatever, that bullshit that we tell ourselves, that usually is just us telling ourselves, and we don't have any reason to believe it or think it, but we create it when we do believe it. So we gotta scythe that shit out, recognizing that was an accident, and we were holding ourselves back, delaying our own evolution, our own goodness, by not realizing or recognizing how amazing we already are. Not realizing or recognizing that this is what matters, the truth of love, the infinite love, the type of love that doesn't die, that doesn't care about what you have or who you are, like, on paper. That's not important. It's a type of love that's on a soul level that we can't really put words to or describe, and it does evolve us, and it does reinvent us, and it helps us to become the best version of us through us understanding and knowing and seeing, and through our loss of it. Sometimes we have to lose it in order to regain it, or put the value on it that it should have had all along. So finding our way and making our plan and exploring ourselves and our vision, rising above those storms of life, it's going to help us to become more abundant in the right way, and become capable of having that balance of that stuff that we would like to have, that magnetic attraction that was already ignited, but was not being respected or seen for the truth of what it actually was. We were letting our backstabbing treatments and seductions and deceptions and jealousies and whatever else things were plaguing, causing those babooms to happen. When we no longer do those things, or see those things as, whatever, we were seeing them like a result of it being that we're not valuable, or we're not good enough, or something must be wrong with us. And instead of looking at it and realizing like it had to fall because it was fake, or it was just not the right way, or we were pursuing things in the name of stuff that wasn't really important, and wasn't coming out of a space of the truth, of that serendipitous type of otherworldly, higher evolutionized energies of clarity and illumination and beauty and divine inspired, energy. And it's like, we gotta go into that subconscious sometimes and figure it out in there first, explore it, uncover it, understand it, and then harmonize together, collaborate with others, and rise like the phoenix through the ashes. So remember, you are beautiful, you are exquisite, you are fragile, you are already perfect, you are magnetic and attractive. But unfortunately, if we don't believe ourselves to be of certain ways or things, we become very attractive to things that we don't necessarily like or want to have happen, but keep happening because we feel like that's who we are, or that's all we deserve, or that we're not better or good enough to have something above that experience, that creation. So when we lift out of there into that beautiful understanding that we are worthy, and we are better, stronger, beautiful, amazing, already came in that way, when we have that understanding and that comprehension, and we uncover and do the work of the evolution from our lineage, of all the people that came before us and all the people that we were already in other lives, and we have that wisdom uncovered, we have that deep knowing, we become more heart-centered, and we become more magnetic to the higher aligned vibrations of that level. So that's when we see beyond the facades and the illusions and the bullshits and the traumas and the karmas and the and that's when our fate spins back around to give us a new try and a new type of experience, usually with the same type of people or the same person, but just in a new way, because we've been through the death of the evolution of the soul. We see what we didn't see before. We know what we didn't know before. We show up and we're now dependable in ways that maybe we weren't before, but it's like we had to start with ourselves because we weren't doing that, and now we are. And as soon as we start to see that, and do that, and recognize that, keep doing that and recognizing that, and other people follow and show up to see, oh wow, look at that baby steps that you're taking, and you guide other people along with you just by being in who you are and serving in that way. That's when our star energy shows up and we manifest our dreams coming true, and that end of the cycles of the things that we've been playing out for God knows how long, can come to an end with a new experience, a new type of story, or a new cycle, a whole new cycle that starts with the light. And it's like, oh, we finally realized it, and we become purposeful and driven and understanding we've accomplished what we meant to do all along, but just needed to have the ahas, needed to have that reinvention, that enlightenment, that epiphany moment. So now we will have those resources come, that multiply of the stuff in our lives that's really good things and beautiful. And we don't feel cursed anymore. We don't feel like, oh, everything sucks. So the Wheel of Fortune can bring us the destiny that was meant to be, for the justice and the balance of all the things that may have been disguised to us before as the things that we wanted. But really, we were lost and didn't know that we were in the storms, and we were misunderstanding what that truth was, or the exquisite beauty that already is, or that we already had it all, but we weren't committed to ourselves or realizing what it was, because we were lost in the illusion that everybody gets lost within here. It's just kind of how it is. We all got bamboozled. We all came here to do this, but through loving ourselves and accepting ourselves and recognizing that we're already beautiful, perfect, amazing, prosperous, resources are there. We have all that we need within us. We're never going to be anything but perfect. It's just like we forget that and let other people or other things or doubts and fears lead us, rather than seeing what we should see and tell to others, or try to give to others that overflowing of abundance and that joy and that love and that acceptance, which is what most people want, is just to be accepted and seen as valuable for who they are. It's like, it doesn't matter what you have. It's never gonna. Just who you are is a being of a soul and of an essence of a frequency, and what you do is going to be part of that. And it's like, yours is beautiful and amazing and exquisite and divine, and so is everybody else's. But we forget that. We got lost that, and we then get silly and start doing shit that we shouldn't do, or allow things that we shouldn't allow, and kind of go down that like the spiral down into weird shit, because we just got lost and didn't see the truth. But now we can, and now we will rise, and now we can come back to each other for the experience of that maturing, the ambitions being made alive, the evolution of the divine, the serendipity, the perfect timing, which is the perfect timing to make things that were once, come to be. And we get it, and we understand it, and we share it, and we're like, yeah, we're motivated and driven and inspiring and beautiful, and share and care and teach and elevate others up through it, and just evolve, basically. So basically, we're all doing it, we're all headed there, and we're all already it, but we just had to fucking remind ourselves and lose ourselves for a little while. But we are headed home. So, if you've been in that illusion or feeling like I don't belong and I don't deserve and I don't know and boo boo boo, stop telling yourself that. See yourself as that person in your power. The person that, embodies the essence of amazing. The person that's strong, of your will and of your energy, of everything, and you don't have those fears because there's nothing to fear. The fear is literally just us manifesting things that don't even really, they're not there, but we create them through our fear, through our pain of the past. We're like, oh no, blah 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 blah, and we start expecting it, creating it, and dipping down into it and looking around for it. And when we look around and think about and try to feel or create anything, it's like that's what we do. We create it by our fear of it. So let's make a judgment call to not do that to ourselves. Let's make a judgment call to be mindful of what we're giving to ourselves and others through the thoughts and the things that we are feeling, or the things that we are speaking or saying or showing or sharing, and instead realize how deeply our subconscious creates stuff too, because it's like instantaneously, it just believes it. There's no just kidding up in there. It's literal stuff all the time. So anytime you say those words, I am, be very, very clear about what you're speaking, because if you say I am anything negative, your mind is going to believe it and take it for truth 100%. And then that's the stuff we walk away from, so that we don't keep going into this, And when we do that, we start moving quickly away from that deceit and those lies, that anxiety, that shit that doesn't even need to be and should never have been, but it became stronger and stronger because we gave it the power to. So we're taking our power back. We're illuminating our new sparks and our new drives and our new ambitions. And we're that high priestess. We're seeing through those false illusions and lies and fears and those doubts, and giving our power away without the boundaries of the self-respect and the understanding and, all of that. So now we can have those good times with others because we recognize where we went wrong. We see the light. We know, okay, like I need to have healthy boundaries. I can't let this happen and that happen and then just like not do anything about it. I've got to maintain it. I've got to be the one that's, powerful and beautiful and in control of my domain. And if people don't value me, or they don't treat me the way that they should, or they do stuff connect to other people and hurt me as a result of it, well, I'm the one that gets to spin the wheel in my favor at that time and choose, am I gonna continue to allow those types of things to play out, or am I going to make a choice to be happy and evolve away from those types of moments and protect myself from those moments? And as I choose that and evolve from that and I rise up from that, anybody that truly loves me or truly cares will either rise up to meet me there, or is going to be removed completely because they cannot be in the same vibration with me if I'm choosing myself. And it's not going to happen overnight, but it's ultimately my divine plan and in my hand to be attractive and magnetic to those who would like to present to me something that's worthy of being connected to and committed to and a part of. So when I choose to have that valuable new start and I see myself as the person that is worthy of all of it, and I heal from the times that I believed that I wasn't and allowed it and stayed within it, then I can be sure to know that I am committed enough to myself to have it, and it will come as a result of it. So hopefully that assists people out there. Know your value, know your love, value your love, and don't give it away to just anybody or anything, and don't let it become detrimental to yourself. Don't love to a fault. Don't create those burdens, or the time that you feel like, oh, nobody likes me, I'm so sad and alone and miserable because I gave my love to somebody that just brought me chaos, or I keep giving my love to somebody that keeps proving to me that they don't care, or that they don't love me in the way that I love them. And I can't have ultimate fulfillment, feel good and abundant and amazing, if I keep allowing those types of moments of experiences where I feel rejected, or I feel sad, or I feel alone, or I feel like inadequate, or just not valuable, not respected. And then I wonder why I have a big freaking tower. Okay? So unconditionally love self is the way that we will stop having those booms and attract somebody to unconditionally love us, in the way that, most people would probably like to be loved by an emperor, man of his truth, his integrity, his power, his respect. All right. Thank you, and Renee. Namaste.